Good afternoon, everybody. Chris Allen here with your weather blast for this Thursday, June 2nd. It is another muggy day. We've had some high clouds try to move in, and these clouds actually associated with thunderstorms that are ongoing in parts of Illinois, headed for the Chicago area. They went through St. Louis early this morning. So all we're getting are the clouds, and some of them, though, I noticed on my way in from midday and heading home, some of them look like they were trying to building cumulonimbus clouds. The last couple of days I've said it will probably shower somewhere, and it hasn't. Today I'm saying it probably won't, but now I'm starting to see those clouds kind of building up. As I've said, though, I've left myself a little out, as every weatherman does. There's a 5 to 10% chance that somebody somewhere could get a shower. Not just today, but for the next several days. So I'm putting that little caveat in there. 5 to 10% chance. That means a majority of you will not see a shower at all, but somebody somewhere could possibly pick up a shower this afternoon. Very remote, very isolated. And you can see some of those clouds building on our AAA Systems weather cams. The weather cam network will start Russellville. There on the square, you can see some of those clouds beginning to build up, temperatures into the 80s now. And as we go to the square in Franklin, our newest AAA Systems weather cam network site, as you can see the Simpson County Courthouse looking down toward 31W as it goes through the middle of town. Pretty good looking day, but you can see some of those clouds trying to build there, tower up just a little bit. We'll see what happens. Again, if anything does happen, it's going to be very, very remote. Temperatures on the Mesonet network already in the mid and upper 80s as expected, and I'm still looking at around 90, maybe 91 for a high temperature for Bowling Green. Dew points, well, it depends on where you are. 60s and 70s to the south, west, and northwest of Bowling Green, but it's only in the 50s as you head northeast, say up there in E-Town, Munfordville, Campbellsville, Columbia. You guys are not feeling quite as much muggy air as we are down here in Bowling Green or in western Kentucky. So there's a bit of a dew point gradient in the area, and that's where the cutoff line from the somewhat uncomfortable to the very uncomfortable air seems to be. Now, you combine all that together, heat index levels today are not as bad as they were yesterday. We do have a 91 heat index. That's the way it feels here in Bowling Green, but low 80s to the northeast where that drier air is. So soak it in, take it in. It's a rare thing, especially these last few days, but over the weekend, that's going to change, I can tell you that. Severe weather, as you know, yesterday. What a day. Springfield, Massachusetts, they're saying preliminary EF2 rated tornado went right through downtown Springfield, Massachusetts, and then maybe another one about 2 hours later. But the severe weather threat today, northern plains to the Texas Panhandle. You see that little stripe there in the middle, right through the plains. Not as much of a tornado threat today as was yesterday, but still it's a possibility. Then you see that little area of slight risk from about St. Louis over to Mount Vernon, Illinois. That's awfully close to us. There's a little disturbance, a little complex of thunderstorms rolling through that area. And this afternoon, with a little heating, it could fire up and maybe cause a few isolated severe storms, but again, not a big tornado threat out of that. How about rainfall? Remember yesterday, if you watched the weather blast, not much chance of rain around here. The QPF 5-day now through Tuesday shows southern Kentucky less than 1/10 of an inch of rain total. Now, if you do happen to get an isolated shower, it may add up to more than that, but as far as any organized rainfall, it is just not in the picture. Speaking of the picture, here is a look at the 6Z. That would be the 1 a.m. Friday morning, tomorrow morning, surface map, high pressure dominating, setting up the dome, preparing for the heat and humidity. Now, you got that system in the plains. It's going to kind of stall out, though. That high pressure ridge pretty strong, so the front's going to run into it and just kind of bounce off of it. Got a warm front to the south that's going to try to lift north, but it's going to run into trouble as well. So the south is really going to, just be glad you're not in Dixie. It is going to bake down there. High temperatures right now are in the upper 90s. Then you throw in the heat index, and it's even worse down there along the Gulf Coast. Here's a look next at the 7 p.m. Friday, or the 0Z Saturday surface map. The high-pressure center is almost right over us, and that plains front just barely moves, and again, it's kind of like, bouncing into a wall of Jell-O. It just kind of bounces into that and bounces back, and it's just going to stay out in the plains, and that's where the focus of thunderstorm activity will stay. Yesterday was the first day of the 2011 Atlantic hurricane season, and we showed you a map yesterday. Here's the map for today. As far as any Atlantic tropical systems getting going, still watching that one that crossed over Florida, went into the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to be in the northern Yucatan or pretty close to it next 24 hours, 10% chance of it developing into something. And then you see that larger area further south in the west central Caribbean, 20% chance that something could develop there. Both of those are minimal chances, but that one over the Caribbean actually could bring some heavy rains and maybe mudslides to Haiti over the next couple of days. And Haiti still recovering after that big earthquake. They don't need any more problems, but it looks like they're going to have to deal with that over the next few days. Here's our extended forecast, the 7-day outlook, 91. I still think that's doable this afternoon despite the cloud cover. Now, tomorrow is when things begin to heat up, 94. For Bowling Green. How about 96? Now, if we hit that 96 on Saturday, Saturday does look to be the hottest day of the year. So far, we've had 2 95 days in a row. Those have been the hottest days yet, but that 96 would surpass that. That's still not a record. I think the record's 100, maybe 101. I'll double-check for Saturday. Then a little weak front, that front out in the plains I showed you, tries to work through the area. Sunday, that'll bring the temperature down just a few notches, though, to 94. And maybe a little less humidity, but it's not going to have any rain with it. Sorry, nothing there. 92 Monday, 93 Tuesday, 91 Wednesday. Still holding on to the fact that this temporary heat wave, I still believe it's a temporary heat wave, is going to reset itself. It's going to break down. The ridges are going to break down. Jet stream is riding far to the north. Trophy weather out west, which is really chilly weather. All that's going to break down and move this way. Eventually, this ridge is going to break down and allow us to be a bit cooler, reset our temperatures to where they should be this time of the year, which is in the low 80s. I think that's going to happen probably by Thursday or Friday of next week. So we got to contend with this heat wave for at least the next week before it begins to break down. Sorry about that. Just stay cool as best you can. In the meantime, thank you for watching the Weather Blast. As always, you guys, the numbers, I watch them go up every day. Thanks for hitting it up on my YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, and on the WBKO.com page. Weather Shouts at any time, a brand new podcast every morning, and those numbers are going up too. About 10,000 listens a month. Man, that just blows me away. 10,000 listens a month to the podcast, and I appreciate that. I'll have a new one for you by 4:30 tomorrow morning, and of course live on AM Kentucky at 5:30 on WBKO ABC. In the meantime, know the weather before it knows you. I'm Chris Allen with your Weather Blast. God bless.